Senua Saga Hellblade 2 was officially revealed for the Xbox at the 2019 Game Awards, depicting its main character Senua in a rather unsettling yet impressive trailer. Since then, its developer Ninja Theory shifted development over to Unreal Engine 5 the following year to take advantage of its innovative tech, even showing off some implemented features such as the MetaHuman plugin for Unreal, which allows developers to create photorealistic in-game characters using hardware as accessible as an iPhone. With the release date unannounced and periodic development updates surfacing, anticipation was rising for the sequel to the 2017 game, which, despite its simple combat and repetitive enemies, at the time many agreed for an independent game had surprisingly high production values. Compared to the original, fans were expecting a more robust, full-fledged experience in the sequel that would surely give Xbox the certified hit it needed during a time when they seemed to need one the most. So let's dive into it. The game opens with Senua and her people having been captured by the Northmen slavers, on their way to be offered up as sacrifices to satisfy the giants, who wreak havoc on the lands. After a raging storm destroys the slave ships, Senua is freed from bondage and eventually confronts their slave master, besting him in combat and taking him prisoner so he can lead her to his settlement in the hopes that she can free the rest of her people. From a gameplay perspective, I found the game's intro to be rather boring and uninteresting, two things that no game should open with if the intention is to grab the player's attention. From the start, you're greeted to segments that mostly consist of holding forward and walking, a major staple of this game you'll be getting quite familiar with over its runtime. Here, I'm jumping around in my footage just to illustrate how much of this persists throughout the game's 6 chapters. In my opinion, anytime control is given to the player, it should be given to them with intention, as if to say, why do we want the player to have control now? And what are they getting out of the experience having that control? Now, I suppose one could say these segments allow the player to take in the environment, or later once you're joined by companions, to take in the story and character developments that occur during conversations. However, I believe a better solution could have been implemented that manages to hit these marks while also being fun in the process. Hidden collectible artifacts throughout the game in which a narrator reveals additional lore and backstory make a return here. However, like the first game, I did find it odd that the game requires you to remain in proximity to the artifact in order to listen, as opposed to just letting the audio carry out as you continue on your path. Puzzles are a mixed bag. For the ones which involve you having to find symbols in the environment, fortunately these are much more forgiving compared to the original game, as the game will align the symbol for you if you're even slightly within the ballpark. Another puzzle type involves swapping the ceiling and floor to create a path forward, while another puzzle type has you manipulating blue flames to open new paths. Overall, the puzzles are nothing to write home about, and in fact I think they sort of get in the way of the game's pacing rather than supporting it. Given how straightforward they are, I think it's obvious that the developers didn't want to create even the slightest obstacle to halt players' progress. However, with such minimal thought needed to solve them, it left me wondering why bother including them in the first place. On the positive side, I've heard the game described as a cinematic audio-visual experience, and in that regard it certainly accomplishes its goal. Set in the beautiful country of Iceland, this game features easily some of the best graphics seen this generation to date. Whether I was appreciating the detailed, robust character models or stunning photorealistic environments, Hellblade 2 definitely drew my admiration in the graphics and presentation department from start to finish. This is the type of game that will capture the attention of a passerby who doesn't even play video games. Superb visuals are also on full display during combat segments. Once you get into a good rhythm, the smooth choreography between Senua and her enemies is a delight to witness, and really shows off what's possible with this attention to detail. Even outside of combat, the way the game transitions from cutscenes to gameplay or vice versa often left me unable to even tell the difference. Senua's mirror is back, allowing you to focus and slow down time to more easily defeat pesky enemies. Additionally, enemies now die via a variety of flashy finishing moves that help to further illustrate the violent dangers Senua finds herself in. Another cool aspect of combat is how fights play out across a series of enemies. Once one enemy is killed, without any breaks, the game transitions in a fluid manner to the next enemy who steps in to challenge you, essentially turning each combat segment in the game into a gauntlet you must persevere through. I do wish combat was a little more beefed up though. In its current form, it's not necessarily bad, however, similar to the first game, it does feel a bit lacking in complexity and options. In closing, I had higher expectations for Hellblade 2 that ultimately were not met, and it left me with the opinion that Hellblade 1 was overall just a better package of a game, even with its own shortcomings. It was more balanced in its pacing and the impact of its unfolding story, as well as narrative segments that led into multiple awesome boss fight set pieces that were largely absent in this sequel. Playing Hellblade 1, I couldn't wait to see what was next. A few hours into Hellblade 2, and I was still patiently waiting for the game to surprise me. As a cinematic experience, Hellblade 2 definitely shines. It's just unfortunate that approach seems to have come at the cost of sufficient depth to its gameplay. With that said, I wouldn't necessarily recommend to skip this one altogether though. As the game only lasts around 5 to 7 hours, this makes for a quick weekend play to capture the experience. Most notably if you have Xbox Game Pass. And if you've yet to experience the first Hellblade, definitely add that to your list as well. Well, that's it for the video guys. As always, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel to be notified of when new videos release. Let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are on Senua Saga Hellblade 2, whether the cinematic experience was sufficient for you, or if you longed for more engaging gameplay. Till next time.